Okay, you actually see them come in?
You will too.
Oh shoot! All right, get it.
All right. So let me see. I'm going to change what's on the screen. All right, everybody, come on in. We want to welcome you guys on tonight, and we're streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and we're on the Orlando Detailers page. So if you're on any of those pages, come on in and let us know that you can hear us nice and clear. And we want to welcome you in. And we want you guys to enjoy what's going on tonight. This is for you. Going to be interviewing Paul Jervey, and
Hey,
he's going to give you the background on him and where he's from and everything. And listen, we're going to me and Paul was just talking off camera, and we were just talking about what was happening with the Fed and the rates being raised. And so as people are coming in tonight, we're going to try and cover that a little bit and just make sure that you understand that you want to be invested, you want to be in the market, you want to be somewhere where your money works for you. You don't want to be in a situation where you're not getting a return, nothing's going your way because every time the stocks drop, you jump out. And I was thinking about that today. That's probably one of the first things after you introduce yourself. I put his bio in the chat. Paul and I are in a mastermind. It's called I3, and we actually met for the first time like a year ago in Orlando. I think it's been about a year now.
Yeah, I think it has. Yeah.
Yeah, in Orlando. And that was our first live boot camp with I3. It was in Orlando. And then we met again in Miami. And man, I should have uploaded a video from Miami, y'all, because I was sitting by him in Miami. And when he introduced me and told me his name was Paul, what did I call you? You remember?
That was Paul from the Bible, I think.
The apostle.
Yeah. That's what it was. Yeah.
Y'all, this brother is deep. Y'all got to understand who we got on tonight. So I didn't know that he would be one of the speakers. And at that boot camp, we had like 4 people from our mastermind that was speaking. And then they said Paul Jervey, and I'm like, man, I'm sitting by Paul, and he got up there and smashed it. He smashed it, and so this guy's a legend. So then when he got done, I'm snapping pictures. I'm like, man, I'm sitting by Paul. I'm sitting by Paul. So it was just a really good experience. But to hear about his views and the way that he thinks about finances and the program that he's put together, a little bit later, we're going to share a video. But it was literally amazing to be in Miami and Orlando and get to meet him. And then we were at Thrive in Atlanta back in I guess it was late October, November.
It was somewhere around there. I think it was October. Yeah.
Right.
October.
Right. So can you share with the people where you're from, what city, and how you got into finances, and what does it mean to be what are your certifications to help them out? Because I know people say they're a CPA or they're a fiduciary.
Yeah.
And I've never really understood what it meant.
Got you. So first off, I want to appreciate you, bro. Just to honor you, man. For inviting me to come on so that we can, just bust it up like we normally do. So appreciate you, honor you, man. So let's see. So where I'm from. So I always joke about this when I'm out and about, but I'm from Delaware. And I remember one time when I was in college, the guy was like, Delaware, like, where is it? You know what I mean? So it's a small, the first state, probably, I guess it's the smallest state. I don't know if there's another one, but right outside of Philly. And not far from Baltimore, not far from DC, Virginia, we're right around all of that. And, born and raised out there, in the tri-state area, man. Got into finance, I guess kind of, I don't know if you want to call it by accident. I was at college, and one of my professors was teaching a course called Consumer Financial Planning. And at the time, they didn't really teach you how to manage money when you're in school. So I decided to enroll in that my last semester, and the professor was also a financial professional. So a financial professional is a little bit different from a financial advisor. It basically means that he was able to help people with financial planning, but he could sell them life insurance, annuities, and mutual funds, stuff like that. And I did a presentation, and he said, Paul, I think you'd be good as a financial advisor. So that was around 2006, 2007, somewhere around there. And then the rest is history. And, I started my journey there, worked for a couple firms, and then God told me in 2018 to start my own. So I did that. It's called Jervey Genesis Solutions, and I became a certified financial planner. So this is kind of one of the things, bro, choose the credentials. A certified financial planner essentially means that you've reached the highest level of education in the financial services world. And so to put it into perspective, at the end of 2022, there was 600,000 financial advisors, professionals in our country.
Wow.
150,000 of them have the CFP.
That's it?
Less than 2%, bro, are Black.
Wow. Wait a minute. Back up and give me those numbers again.
So 600,000. So when you talk insurance companies, investment companies, financial planning firms, 600,000 across the country. Only 150,000 of them, less than half, have the CFP, Certified Financial Planners designation, and less than 2% are African American.
So what is the disconnect when it comes to money with us getting certified, or is it just that we've never been taught or never been, because when I think about what happened today with the stocks, it was just a few years ago during COVID that I even started paying attention to stocks, really thinking about investing and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I'm really trying to figure out what's been the disconnect in our community, and why does it take us so long, to understand that we have to invest, and the importance of passing that on as a legacy, because the Bible says a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. He just thought automatically they was going to leave it to his children.
Right.
He didn't even mention the children. He's just like, look, either you crazy if you're not going to do something for your children. And yeah. I talk about that all the time. A lot of people in our communities, they don't have life insurance. They don't have health insurance. Every time I see a funeral and they're saying GoFundMe, yeah. I just feel bad. I feel bad. I'm like, what are we doing? What are we doing in 2023?
I think, honestly, bro, I feel like slavery affected us more than we know. I think that's the effects of slavery has really trickled down to generations. And it's like when you think about slavery, it's like, okay, I do something good, I still get beat. I do something bad, I get beat. Right. If I tell the truth, I get beat. And so it's like that mindset, that mentality is like, if I get something, I gotta, take care of it right then and there before anything happens. And I think subconsciously in our culture, we just kind of, I guess, as a result of that, live in the moment and don't necessarily think about the future, but right. I think, and I might not be breaking it down the way that I'm thinking about it or articulating the way I'm thinking about it, but that's my thought. Like slavery, I think really jacked us up to where our mindset has to be adjusted. Our paradigm has to shift. Our brains have to be washed. And so, and even when it comes to Black people in the financial services world, the ones that I've met don't necessarily want to, and this isn't even just Black folks, this is whites and Hispanics, Indians, all those different cultures that I've met in the industry. The CFP is the equivalent, the Certified Financial Planners designation is the equivalent to the bar for attorneys, or the equivalent to the Certified Public Accounting degree for CPAs. So it is a beast of a course, of a test. It's one of the hardest. To me, it was almost just as hard, if not harder, than college. So it takes some people, like they have courses where it takes you 2 years to get through the material.
What?
And then they have others that teach it on an accelerated pace where you can get through it in a year, you can get through it in 6 months. So, it's just one of those things where I think that people don't necessarily want to have to go through it or feel as though that they don't need it. But I will tell you, there are so many things that I didn't know about money that I learned from that degree that I'm trying to impart into our people. It was part of the reason why I wanted to do a little bit more. And then my grandfather was a bishop. So knowing what I know about the word of God and just trying to marry those two, because I know that that's one way to talk to our people, bro, in closing that wealth gap. Because Black people, we love us some God.
Exactly. Well, can you answer the question? Like, I pastor a church. It's an online church, and we're actually streaming on that channel tonight. So I hope that people are hearing what you're saying, because a lot of times one of the biggest gripes in our community is I tithe, I sow, I serve, I give, but I'm not seeing breakthrough in my finances. Right. Can you speak to that for a few moments about the connection between investing? I think sometimes people feel like if they tithe, you know, the blessings is going to be there, or if they're giving and serving, that God has to impose a blessing. But do we still have to invest if we're tithing and giving and serve? There still should be an element of investing, correct?
Yes,
because
absolutely.
Right, because isn't there a scripture in the Bible? I don't remember, but remember when Jesus gave the men the talents?
Yes, Matthew 25.
Right, the one that didn't bring back a return, he called them evil.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. This is what I've noticed that most people miss with that scripture. It said when Jesus is telling that story, that parable, he says that the man divided what he gave them based on their ability.
Wow.
And that was one thing that stuck out to me. It says he gave it to them based on their ability. So he gave, and this ties into the parable of the sower. So he gave that one guy, what was it, like 5, and then another guy 2, and then another guy 1, or something like that. But the question becomes, why did he give the one guy 5 and why did he give the other guy 2? It was because he knew the one guy had the ability to manage 5.
Wow.
He knew the other guy had the ability to manage the 2.
I never
the one that was only going to get 1 had the ability to manage 1. It had nothing to do with how much you're tithing, how much you're giving, how blessed you are, how anointed you are. This is why you see people outside of the Bible that, man, end up amassing large amounts of wealth.
Right.
It's a principle.
Wow. Oh, you said the P word. Man, I've been saying that forever. The principles work.
Yeah.
If you work them. Like literally, if let's say people, and I've been saying this for years, we get to the end of the year, and I'm saying we, because I've done it too. We get to the end of the year and we're like, man, I didn't make the money that I wanted to make, but I went to Ruth Chris. I bought Gucci purses. Yeah. I bought a car. I went on a Disney cruise. I spent 10, 20 grand just enjoying myself. Now imagine if at the beginning of the year, I put 10 or 20 grand in Apple or Google or Tesla when I get to the end of the year, or just this S&P 500.
Right.
That's the difference. It's what are you doing with your finances? What are you doing with, like we said, what God has entrusted us with? Because he's given us all some money. There's some monies. People go to McDonald's. People go work. Listen, during this time, people are spending and doing whatever they want to do with their finances. So it's up to us to redirect our monies in an avenue to where they can help us. And I think that's one of the key things that we have to show people.
And the thing is, you know, they like, even with what happened today, you have to, when it comes to this money thing, you're either going to believe the word of God, or you're going to believe what they're telling you on the news, right? And the Bible says, what was it, John 17, the Bible, the word of God is truth. And so I think it's in Ecclesiastes. He even talks, Ecclesiastes 11 talks about that you should invest in 7 investors, yes, in 8, because you don't know which one is going to do well and stuff like that, right? So the Bible has laced throughout it various principles on why you should do financial planning, why you should do investing, regardless of if today, like, they just increased the federal funds rate by another 0.25%. And so we saw the stock market shoot up, then we saw it shoot down. And I guarantee you, a lot of people ended up taking their investments and pulling it out if they hadn't done it already. when they don't really realize that's the worst thing that you could do. Because it's like one of my clients, actually, he's one of my uncle, he actually sent me a note, was like, so with what happened today, is that a positive or a negative for the stock market? And so my response is, it depends on your perspective. Because if you're a long-term investor, then it's a positive. Why is it a positive? It's a positive because you as a long-term investor want the stock market to be down. Why? Think about it like this. When you're investing in the stock market, you're investing in companies that you do business with. You go to Walmart, you go to Target, you buy things for your house, maybe buy some Bounty paper towels, some Tide, some Colgate toothpaste, some Johnson & Johnson baby powder. All of those things are for companies that trade on the stock market. So when you invest your money into those companies, one of those companies, let's take Johnson & Johnson, for instance, and I don't remember where it's trading at, but let's just say it normally trades at $250 a share. But now it might be trading at $100 a share.
It's on sale.
It's on sale. Everybody loves a sale. But when it comes to the stock market, nobody likes the sale.
I've been telling people that I put a lot of VTI in my account.
Vanguard Total Stock Market Index, yep.
I'm looking at NNN, which is a real estate REIT that offers a $5 dividend. During this time, I tell people not to get scared, but look at things that can give you a dividend. Look at things that can pay you even while the stock is down. They're paying you a dividend quarterly or monthly just to hold on to the stock and sit there and be still. And so I invested in Zim. It's a transportation company. They offer, I think, a $5 or $6 dividend. So I'm looking at plays that can give me money while I hold them and not worry about the up and down, because my goal is everything I buy now, I want to hold it to 2040. I'm thinking 2040.
And that's because you garnered some knowledge since you said you started watching the stock market in 2020, but I'm pretty sure you did some reading, you did some research before you ended up investing and figuring out why you should do stuff like that. See, and that's where a lot of people, I feel as though we dropped the ball, whether you want to call it our people or just people in general. The Bible says that my people perish for a lack of knowledge.
Exactly.
You have to be a constantly learning person. And so if God divides talents, which essentially is money, based on my ability, well, then I have to increase my ability when it comes to money. I have to gain some new information, some new knowledge about money. So what does that mean? Do I want to read a book? No, you don't have to read a book, but you can, and I even say this, y'all, a lot of people need to be careful who they listen to on social media too, because they're, because some of these people are giving strategies and you try to employ those strategies, it's going to mess your whole self up.
Exactly.
I listen to them, man. And so, I just say that, but,
you do have to be careful.
Right. You just have to be careful, but invest in the book or invest in a course that's going to teach you that information. Or the Bible says in Proverbs 15:22 that plans fail for a lack of wise counsel, but with many advisors, plans succeed. So you get yourself an advisor, or just like you and me, you and I have a business coach.
Exactly.
We have a business attorney. We have a CPA. We have a doctor. We have a dentist.
Exactly.
Because we can't do all that stuff ourselves. We need those advisors.
And exactly. I'll tell you exactly what I did last October. I started doing options trading, but I didn't want to do options trading without training.
Yeah.
And so I set aside a particular amount of money. Some people be like, I'm going all in. I'm not doing all in. I hired a coach. And then this year I joined an actual investment group. Yep. I pay monthly. They coach you. They talk to you. They'll show you step by step. They even have a master course that I downloaded. It teaches you every candle pattern. What's a morning star? What's a bull flag? A bear flag? A doji? Man, I ain't never heard none of this stuff. I want to learn. So now when I'm at the country club doing business on Saturdays, I'm asking my clients now, these big wigs, these guys own hedge funds. They own investment firms. I said, man, did you see that bear flag, that bull flag break out in the SPY? Oh, man, you caught that? I say, man, I caught like 100 points on that bad boy. Oh, man, you sitting pretty. So I can talk their language because now, For people that don't know, when a bull flag is going up, a bear flag is going down. I didn't know any of that. Dojis and all this terminology. I took the latter part of last year, and I'm still going through that master course, but it breaks everything down. It makes it so simple to where a kid can learn it.
And that's good because you're finding enjoyment in the learning. Other people, like in my line of work, most people come and they hire me because they don't want to have to be bothered with it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if for people who are like that, that's perfectly fine. You go and you find somebody that you can be comfortable talking about one of the most intimate portions of your life, which is your money. And you go talk to that person and they can do the strategies and stuff for it, and you pay them.
Right.
And that way you get your time back, which time is greater than money.
Exactly. And I'm telling you, once you learn these principles with everything that's going on, listen, you're either going to learn it or you're going to have to pay somebody. Yep. So you need to reach out to Paul, or you need to take time. Because listen, if you learn how to invest your money yourself, you'll never be broke, because you're going to be cautious about your money. You're going to be protective of your money. Like in our investment group, there's people investing $25,000, $100,000, $1 million every day in the market. Me, 300, 400, 1,000, because I'm cautious. Yeah. But everybody's investing on their level. And I think it was like last week when the SPY did a reversal. I jumped in with 8 contracts. I made $1,200. I could have made 10 grand, but I started getting out because I was doing it on my phone. I couldn't see the charts. And once you learn the charts, it gives you power, because you can sit there and read and see, oh, it's coming down. I was like, I told my wife, I said, I wish I'd have been at the computer. I would have kept all 8 contracts and wrote that thing. I got in at 400 and wrote it all the way to 392.
Man, yeah.
That's some serious money.
Yeah.
But when you take time and learn this stuff, my dad never invested. My mother never invested. We grew up on the farm. And so, y'all, we don't have no excuse no more. I mean, literally, instead of buying coaches or purses and all this other stuff, golfing. Man, I know people, they spend thousands on golf clubs, golf ball, basketball, tournaments. Invest in yourself. We're in a mastermind with Darius Daniels, and he said, man, before I tried to help anybody else, he said, I flipped myself. He invested the money in himself, and that's what you got to do. Look, we're at the end of the first quarter. Take a record of what has happened in your life, what has happened in your finances, what has happened in your family, and begin to invest in you. Listen, you're your own best investment, because once you learn it, can't nobody take it away. I can sit home, literally. I'm expecting tomorrow to make about 3 grand in the market, because I'm expecting a red day. On red day, I call it put season.
There you go.
That's it. Season. At the same time, I'm dollar cost averaging in on VTI. I'm dollar cost averaging in on the S&P. I'm dollar cost averaging in on the QQQ. As they're going down, I have buy orders set.
Right.
And I'm keeping those to 2040, probably longer. I'm never getting rid of those. So I don't care what it does. Tesla, I'm dollar cost averaging in. And can you speak to and explain to them what I'm talking about, if people don't know?
Yes, absolutely. So when he's talking about dollar cost averaging, that's basically like you pick an amount each month that you're willing to save. And you're going to add, let's just call it $100. And you're going to save $100 every single month into VTI, which he's talking about is an index fund that's called the Vanguard Total Stock Market Index. Basically, it invests in the S&P 500, which has about 560 plus stocks in it, the Dow Jones, which has 30 stocks in it, the NASDAQ, which has over 2,000, the Wilshire 5,000. He's investing in the international markets, commodities, gold. Everything is in just this one investment. And so as he's putting that $100 in, he's buying a piece of it every single month. So this isn't where VTI is trading, but let's just assume for easy math, VTI is trading at $20. So he puts that 100 in, he gets 5. He gets 5 shares. And then let's say VTI goes up to 30. Well, maybe now he's only going to get, call it 4 and some change shares. But then VTI goes down to say $10. Well, he's going to get 10 shares. But if VTI then goes from $10 all the way up to 50, he's gobbled up so many shares at different prices that the balance of his account is going to ride the wave up. And so this is why I said earlier, it is such a good thing. It's a different perspective that you look at the stock market when it's going down. You look at it as buying signal. You always want to be greedy when everybody is fearful.
Exactly.
And you want to be fearful
when
everybody is greedy.
Warren Buffett said that, didn't he?
Warren Buffett. All day.
Yes. And y'all, when the market is red, we call that running into the fire. I'm going to go get this. I'm getting this for my kids. I'm getting this for the people that never had the opportunity to get it, because it allows me to create legacy. When you see people working at McDonald's and Walmart in their latter years, they didn't do this. Nobody taught us this. And I'm sitting here thinking now, can you speak to managed accounts for your children, or do you do anything for the children? I set up accounts for each of my children, and I'm just VTI, VOO, VTI, VOO. My daughter likes Starbucks. We bought some Starbucks. She's got. And when you buy the stocks, y'all, you are owner in the company. Like they send me letters, emails. I vote. I listen in on the calls when they're making decisions. I own AMC. We got to make decisions about what goes on with the company. It's powerful.
So yeah, I'll hit that, and then some other stuff came to my mind as you were talking, just to help with the mindset piece as you're doing some of this stuff. So with children, there's so much that you can do to set them up. So many strategies that you can employ. So a couple, you can set up what's called custodial accounts. Custodial accounts are basically where you as the parent oversee this account that you're setting up for your child, and you can put as much money into that account as you like. But depending on the state that you're in, your child can have access to it at 18 or 21 or 25, and at that point they can do whatever with it as they want. So that can also be looked at as a form of generational wealth, because part of the reason why there's such a wealth gap between the black and white population is because majority of the white population, for whether you want to call it the baby boomer population or generation that came after, is they inherited some kind of asset that gave them a little bit of a heads up. Well, most black folks didn't really get that head start. So if you do set up a custodial account, that's giving them that head start. Maybe they use that based on how you've trained them up, because the Bible says, train up a child in the way that he should go, so that when he is old, he will not depart from it. So if you educate them on how to manage the funds and how to deal with money, they may get that account, and instead of blowing the money on a brand new car or something like that, they may say, you know what, I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it into this real estate property. Or you know what, I'm going to take this and I'm going to just I'm going to put it in my name, but mom, dad, I'm going to let this keep growing. So you can do that. Other ways that you can do it is like if you own a business, you can, if your child is of age, you can hire them and pay them a salary, take that salary, put it in what's called a custodial Roth IRA. If you put money into a custodial Roth IRA and just say you get $10,000 into it. Now, this is what I'm about to hit you with is factual numbers. And so I reviewed this literally in a review meeting with a client today, that we were talking about the market and staying in and why you don't pull out. There was a study that was done that said that if you invested $10,000 into the S&P 500 in January 1st, 1980, let it sit there until March 31st of 2022. Bro, tell me how much money you think that 10,000 turned into.
What year did you put it in?
Put it in 1980.
1980?
1980. So we're talking 42 years.
Oh man, that if you put 10,000? 10,000. That would probably be, I would venture to say 15 million or more.
Listen, you right on it. It ended up being 1.2 million.
Wow.
1.2 million. But now,
I know it's in the millions.
Here's the kicker. If you took the money out on a day like today when the stock market went down, let's say you missed the 5 bet, because when you take it out, you got to know when to get back in.
Right. And you never get in at the right time because you can't time the market.
Can't time it. So if you just missed the 5 best days from 1980 to 2022, guess how much that 10,000 turned into?
Probably about half.
$622,000.
Oh my gosh. Are you serious? That much?
Dead serious. So now here's the thing.
Oh.
So let's take it back into this strategy. Let's say you set this up for your child. You put that $10,000 in a custodial Roth IRA. They let that sit there until they get to retirement age. Give it 40 years. If that 10,000 turns into that 1.2 million, it's sitting in a Roth IRA. They can never tax it.
What? Wait a minute. Are you serious?
I'm dead serious. So if you said you just put that little bit of money aside for your child, you pretty much, on top of everything else they may do, but from you, they just got a tax-free $1 million retirement account for mom and dad.
Oh,
and now, mind you, you didn't add any extra money to it. It was just that 10,000. But if you added to it, and now the government can't ever tax it because it's inside of this Roth IRA chassis.
Mm-hmm. So that's what Dave Ramsey talks about, using that Roth IRA to be tax-free.
Got it. But see, you got to be careful with those though, because some people make too much money to put money into the Roth. So then you have to come up with different ways to find a way to get into the Roth IRA. And then this is where people have come out and released on social media where life insurance kind of comes into play, because life insurance can be a Roth IRA alternative.
Now, when you start talking about life insurance, I know some people are using the life insurance. They're putting millions of dollars into life insurance, and then they're using that to fund other things.
Yes.
Or just having, I think I have term, but when I redo it, I'm going to get whole life. I've got term right now. Term runs out. There's a term on it.
It does.
I wish I'd have got whole life, because I think the trick with insurance is too, you want to get it when you're healthy.
And you're young.
I'm 53 now. I got to go redo this insurance. I'm going to be fast and I ain't eat nothing. I'll be hitting the gym. They got to check my blood. Listen, if you don't have insurance, you got to get that while you're young. And would you say whole life or term life, or you just have to talk to them to figure it out?
So as a financial planner, so I have to be careful when I talk about certain things, because information that I give, I can be sued on.
Right. We don't want that.
So term is good for certain situations. Generally speaking, when you have an insurance need where you know that the need is eventually going to fall off. Whole life insurance is going to cover you for your whole life. So generally people get it because they want to make sure that they guarantee that they're going to leave some money behind. And so now what people have noticed is that you can structure these things to basically shelter it away, money away from taxes, because life insurance, whole life is nothing. Think of it nothing more than like real estate property. So if you buy a real estate property and you pay off your mortgage, your property may be worth $500,000, and so you owe nothing on it. So if you want to get that money out of it, what do you got to do? You got to go to the bank and get either a home equity line of credit or a cash out refinance, and you take out another loan. Right. Now, when you do that, that's tax free. That money that they give you on that property is tax free. You don't pay money on that. So the life insurance is the exact same thing. The difference is you don't even got to pay it back. It pays back when you die.
Wow. That's powerful.
You use the life insurance and leave the assets to your family.
That's powerful. And see, we've been missing out on this. I literally have been telling people. I actually did a sermon last year called "Why Not Invest?" And I talked about having life insurance. I talked about just buying a stock a month. If you just start with buying one and just get to the end of the year, you got 12 stocks. I mean, you've advanced, you've progressed. You've done something that probably people in your family will never do. Now, I'm connected with a gentleman here in Orlando. They do real estate, and they take money and they invest in the real estate. They do stocks, they do insurance. They're trying, because he said the same thing. He said that at some point you can only put so much money into the 401ks and the Roth IRAs, and then money goes into real estate and other things like that. But I'm so excited because over this last 3 years of COVID, I just learned so much. You know, that time sitting home, I didn't waste it. I was reading, I was studying, I was thinking, you know, what can I do to put my family ahead? And one of the things that I talked to my cousin in DC. She's very well versed in investing, her and her husband. And she told me to never buy any stocks for the kids that don't pay dividends, because when you start the kids at birth, the compounding takes place faster for them because you're starting them sooner. Can you explain the compounding? Because I still really don't understand. It's so many years out before it compounds, and then it just keeps compounding.
So the compound interest is magic. That's it's magic. There's nothing else to say about compound interest. It's just magic. But in order for a compound interest to work, bro, it needs time.
Right.
So when you have, now here's the thing, you can invest in dividend paying stocks and have that reinvested, and it'll grow as well as compound every single quarter that dividend gets paid. So it's like you were saying earlier, you got a REIT investment that you put money in. It's going to do well based on the underlying investments of the REIT, but also is going to give you that guaranteed 5% interest every year. And so you're getting growth and income that you don't need. You just reinvest it.
Right.
So it's like a mini financial engine. It's like a mini financial engine. It just keeps growing and going and going and going. And over time, it just continues to grow. Think about it like this. Compound interest works like this. Do you remember when we were in Miami and I did my presentation and I said, would you rather have $1 million today or a penny that doubles every day for 30 days?
Right. I do remember that.
And so some people chose the $1 million. And then there were some people that chose the penny that doubled every day for 30 days.
I said the $1 million. Because I was thinking, I can invest this in the stocks. That's what I was thinking.
So if you chose that penny, it after 30 days, the penny turns into $5.3 million.
Good Lord.
And that's because of compound interest. See, compound interest works like in that scenario, the penny doesn't really start to cook until day 20 when the penny has grown to about $10,000. Compound interest comes in, and over time, it causes that 10,000 to turn into 20,000, that 20,000 into 40, that 40 into 80, that 80 into 160, that 160 into 320, that 320 into 640, and it just keeps going and going and going. That's compound interest.
Wow. Now, there's one other question I wanted to ask you, because I've heard people say this, and I said, man, I'm going to have Paul on. I'm going to ask him. I have a client. I saw her investment portfolio when we were doing her car. It was $35 million.
Okay.
And so she's like, that's not a lot of money. You know, if you put it in stocks, you could lose it. And plus, we only put that there to loan against it. I was like, loan against it? She's like, yeah, you know, you can use that. You can loan against it. And I'm thinking, no, you can't. She's like, yes, you can. We've done it. We put that money there. We loan against that and set up a business. How do you? Why have I never heard this before? Why am I just hearing this last year?
So one of the reasons is because it's a strategy that financial advisors usually pull out of their hat for their clients when the opportunity presents itself. So I set up. And I'll kind of backdrop into this, and when I explain stuff like this, I tend to get deep into scripture too. All right. So think of it like this. Think of you got 4 buckets, right? So you have 4 buckets lined up. Your first bucket is money that you keep at the bank. So, and I'm going to answer the question. So money that you keep at the bank, that's your emergency money and any short-term money. So anything that you're planning to do within the next 3 years, you never invest it, because the stock market operates in cycles of 3. Every 3 years that the market is up, expected to be down the next year. So you want to put that money in a savings account. Now, again, that's biblical too, because Proverbs 6:6 says, look at the ant. Look at what the ant does in the summertime. He stores up, right? That's building up your emergency account. So then you go into the second bucket, which is where you are and where we're about to talk about now. This is what's called the capital appreciation bucket, but it's also called a taxable bucket. So inside this bucket, you can have real estate, you can have your business, and you can have stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs, limited partnerships, all these different things. Each one of those investments inside of that bucket, you can essentially hold as collateral. Wow. And the entity that holds them can allow you to basically borrow against it so that your investments never get touched. The reason the rich get rich is because they do what's called non-direct recognition of assets. What does that mean? That basically means if you want to buy a property and you have $100,000 in your account and you want to take $50,000 out to buy that property or to invest in that property, your $100,000, let's say, was making 8% compound interest. Now that you took it out, your $50,000 is making 8% compound interest. So what you took out directly impacted what was growing at 8%.
Wow.
The non-direct approach, which is what the rich and the wealthy do, is they say, I'm going to get an asset. I may use debt to do it in some cases, but if I have an asset, I want to hold this up as collateral. So let's look at a real estate property. You own the real estate property, like we talked about earlier, $500,000. You want to take out $100 to invest in a property. Your real estate property is growing at 6% compound interest. If I take $100,000 from that real estate property of the equity out of it, my house is still worth $500,000, growing at 6%. What I took out did not impact the asset that grows at 6%.
Wow.
The rich want their assets to stay invested so they can continue to grow. So you can do the same thing with your investments. Hold your investments as collateral. And whoever is holding your investments will allow you to borrow against it so that your investments, your stocks that we've been talking about, your VTI, stays in the market and grows with the market.
Wow.
Life insurance, same way. I get a whole life policy. I invest in the whole life policy and I put money in it. My whole life policy is going to pay me 5% in my dividend. I take that out. They may charge me 3% for interest on that money. I'm still making 2%, so I'm still growing.
Wow.
Every time I take it out, it is tax-free. I think it's 1 Corinthians 12:14, which talks about that you pay the tax that you're owed. It says nothing about reducing how much you could owe.
Oh my gosh. Man, you are dropping bombs. Oh my God. So basically, I could sell my business at some point, let's say for $4 million. I sell my company, put that money into the stock market, put $2 million in VTI, $2 million in Apple, leave that money there in a trust perpetually to my kids and family, whoever, a foundation, and just loan against it.
Yep.
Wow.
Now, because I love you, I'm gonna give you a hack.
Y'all hear that? Listen, listen, we got people watching. Please put in the chat where you're from on tonight. I've been seeing people coming in and out. Y'all, if you're enjoying this, please put some fire in the chat. We're going to put up some information about Paul. We also have a video, but if you're enjoying this, please let us know. I know it's called Becoming Your Own Bank. He's speaking facts. Kurt Johnson. Michael Mendengal, Detroit. So we got people from all over the world, all over the country, Memphis, Detroit, Washington, D.C. on tonight. And listen, I brought Paul on, y'all, because we're at a point now to where it's very serious and very concerning what's going on with our money. And if we don't get it right, at the beginning of the year, it won't magically write itself at the end of the year. And so I'm going to put this information up later, but you please reach out to him. So if people are from all around the country, and don't forget about the hack, can you still help them? Like say if they're in Detroit, California, wherever they're calling.
Detroit, got clients in Memphis, clients in Cali, clients in Seattle. I got clients all over.
Good.
Well, so
good.
before I get you back, all right, there's a couple things from a mindset standpoint that you have to have in order to make a lot of this stuff work. So one of the reasons why we see that some people don't have the money that we see other people have, like the people that I see have the money I want. Right. There's a lot of reasons. I'm gonna just break them down into 4. One of the reasons is some people, when they're in their pursuit of growing wealth, they forget who gave them the power.
Wow. Oh, say that again.
Sometimes when people are in their pursuit of growing wealth, they forget who gave them the power and think it's them.
Ooh.
When you forget who the source is, when you forget who gave you the power, you eventually become unplugged from the source.
Man,
so I can be tithing. But I'm thinking it's me.
Right.
The other one is that you have to be the right type of ground. Remember in the parable of the sower, he talks about several types of ground. Farmer comes out, sows some seed by the wayside. That's the person who's listening to us, hears it, goes in one ear and out the other.
Right.
Then you got the one that falls on stony ground. They hear it, they get excited, but something has stopped it from getting all the way in. Then you got the thorn, where it falls on thorn, right? Thorns mean that either it got so hard that a thorn came up and choked it. I was saving, stock market went down, I get choked. Or somebody said something, man, you don't need to do all that. Just go ahead and do this. Choke.
Wow.
Or they're thinking, I'm going to get all this money. I'm going to save up what I need to save. I'm not going to do nothing. I'm just going to chill. I'm going to live my life, be happy, be married. That's what happened in the parable of the rich young fool and God killed him.
Wow.
And then the biggest one is where people are lazy or they lack diligence. Solomon talks about it laced throughout Proverbs and Ecclesiastes. He says that if you're lazy, your path is like a hedge of thorns. So what do thorns do? They prick you. So it ensures that if whatever I'm doing isn't going to turn out the way that I expect it to. But he says, if I'm diligent, my path is made plain. Then he says in Proverbs 12:24 that the hand of the diligent shall bear rule, or the slothful is under tribune. So what does that mean? That if I am systematic, if I'm productive in my pursuit of getting this wealth in my area, so like you're in trucking, you're in business, in my area, I'm going to reach a level of mastery that has to be rewarded.
Exactly.
You see what I mean? So I have to be diligent. So even when I give you the hack, it's not going to work if there's a barrier to your increased mentality.
Wow.
So the hack is, and I've seen this because this is not new to the financial services world. We've been I've had clients do this for years, but social media has started leveling the playing field. One of the easiest ways to get to have what you want in life and then also leave a legacy. During your life, you acquire assets, acquire stocks, bonds, mutual funds, real estate, businesses, all those things. You build them up, create systems so that they're essentially running by themselves. And then just as we talked about, you borrow against them. Just as your client was saying, you borrow against it. And you live on that for your life. You build up all these assets and you live on them. You borrow against them. So now what you've done is if you've built up a $10 million net worth and you live on those assets and you're borrowing against it, that's essentially $10 million in your pocket that's tax-free, that during the rest of your life after you've acquired it, you pay no taxes on. So now I'm going to die at some point. So then that means that my kids may inherit this. No, they won't, because I'm going to buy enough life insurance where the kids are going to get it, pay off all the debt, they get the assets, repeat the process.
Wow. I just heard somebody talking about that and I didn't understand it until you explained it like that. Wow. And the lady was saying, because I'm around a bunch of wealthy people, I'm not going to say any names, but they were literally saying that they bought, I want to say it was 15 or $20 million worth of insurance, but multiple policies. This is another thing. I have 2 policies. I never really knew that people had that many. They're buying like 5, 6, 10, 12 policies.
They have
with
to.
Different.
They have to, because one insurance company is not going to insure you for that much, because that's going to be a hit to their balance sheet. So most of the times, like some of the clients that I have, like I got one client, he's got 25 million, 5 different companies, 5 million each.
Wow. So now that makes sense, because I was like, why would you have 12 policies, multiple millions of dollars? And the lady said, it passes on that way. It's a part of the succession plan. I've learned so much, man, being in Orlando and about trust and how they use insurances and how they're loan. I mean, just being around the celebrities and the people that I've been able to meet and talking to their people, it's been very eye-opening. And to understand now, they have to have those. So when she told me she got 12 policies, she has to have it.
The reason she has to have it is because she, depending on who's in office, she may end up running into estate tax. So now, there was like estate tax has been all over the board, but there was one point where I think it was right when Obama got in office. I think he dropped it, where if you died and you had over $1 million, anything that was over that million got taxed at 45%.
Good Lord. That's a serious haircut right there.
Bro. So immediately, the amount of insurance salesmen were loving Obama at that point, were loving him, because wealthy people were so thirsty for insurance agents and estate attorneys, because they were going and getting these policies and getting them owned by these trusts. And one of the things, again, when you're watching social media, you got to be careful, because they talk about trust planning as if it's a major asset protection thing. Revocable trusts don't protect your assets. It has to be irrevocable.
Say that again, because that's a key point tonight.
Revocable trusts do not protect your assets. So people will say, yeah, no, this is owned by my trust. That's owned by my trust. If I sue you, I can still get to it.
Wow.
The only way that it can be out of your name is if it's in an irrevocable trust. So most of your millionaires and billionaires that have all that money, like when I think it was Trump ended up having, like he went bankrupt for one of them casinos, and they were trying to figure out how he went bankrupt, but none of his other assets were touched. It's because that casino was owned by an irrevocable trust. He didn't own it.
Wow. This has been very enlightening.
That's why what God showed me, and this is why I joined our mastermind, because there is no financial planner on the market. This is what Dr. Darius said to me, talking about marrying biblical principles with practical principles. And so my goal is, with the help of some other people, is to figure out how we get this information to us so that we can start to close that wealth gap. You know what I mean? That becomes the main goal.
Wow. Well, guys, we have a video that Paul has put together. I put the number on the screen, but I think I got another one too that I've got to put up. But I want to show y'all this video that he's put together. It's a very short video, so stay with us. And then Paul's going to come back and close us out. We got about 10 minutes left. Okay, so hold on 1 second, and we're going to play this video for you guys.
Where is your money? Is it in a better place than it was 6 months ago, 1 year ago?
Hold on. Let me go back and start it over.
2 years ago? Do you feel like you're in a crazy state of hunger? I'm not talking about hungry.
Can they see it?
I can see it.
For food, but hungry for things to change. Are you living paycheck to paycheck? Can't get out of debt? Don't know how to save or where to save? Don't know if you can get that house, send that kid to college, or retire? Maybe you're asking God, where is the breakthrough? Because I'm tithing and giving offerings. There is a solution. and it's called Economics. Economics is the ultimate biblical financial education course designed to lead you on an exodus from financial bondage to the financial promised land. Economics uses a strategy called the 3M approach to master your money life. After applying these principles, you won't have to chase money because the money will track you down.
I think you're muted, bro.
Okay. So that video, can you explain the video in closing? Because I wanted to keep this to about an hour. We could go on for hours talking. Literally, this is all I do all day. When I get up in the morning, just to explain a little bit before we close, I get up in the morning. I normally drop my daughter and my son to school. I get up at 5. First, I read a little bit, pray a little bit, look at the market, look at what's going on in pre-market, drop the kids to school. I come back home. I get on the investment group, and we're on from the market open. Sometimes I'll stay on all day. But they're just covering stocks. And so literally, I just talk about finances all day. So literally, we can keep going. But we're at an hour. But I did want you to talk about economics because this is what you talked about in Miami.
Yeah.
And the room came unglued. Your presentation was so smooth. And it was like you had done like 1,000 of them. So you must have talked about it before because,
that was the first time.
That was the first time. Oh, man. And it was off the chain. So can you share with the people exactly what it is? And they can go to your website that's there and watch the video again and check out all the information that Paul has to offer.
Yeah, bless you, bro. Love you, man. Yeah, so Exonomics is a play on words. It is the book of Exodus and economics put together to call it Exonomics. It is a 17-week biblical financial education course designed to take you on an exodus from whatever level of financial bondage you believe to be in to your personal financial promised land. And I use a strategy called the 3M approach to mastering your money life. 3 M's. Mindset. We have to figure out what mindset we need to have from a biblical standpoint. We have to wash our brain from all those things that we've been taught, things that we've heard, all of those things. And then we jump into the mechanics section, which is what do we need to do to eradicate the word broke from our life and bloodline forever?
Wow.
And then the third M is management. Money isn't our problem. Management is. And so what do we need to do in order to increase our management capabilities so that we can recognize the blessing when God gives it to us?
Wow, that's powerful. And if somebody wanted to reach out to you, would you want them just to go to the website or how through Economics Live, or what would they do if they wanted to have a session with you or consult with you on this week or next week or whenever it's practical?
Man. So if you're interested in the course, you can go to the website and you can join the course. We do one group Zoom call a month. There's about 80 people right now that are enrolled in it. So we get on there and we talk finance, and a lot of people talk about their challenges, financial, and I give advice and recommendations right then and there. We have a Facebook group, and then they have access to the courses and everything like that. So that's what Exonomics is about. If you are interested in actually hiring or talking about me being your financial advisor in that capacity, then you can go to my other business, which Anthony had the number up. But you can also go to www.genesis, GENESIS, then WMS.com, and you can submit your request there. And one of the team members will get in touch with you to send you a calendar link so that you can block out time on my calendar and we can talk.
Okay, yeah, I just put it on the screen. We want to make it easy because one of the things I hate to see year over year is when we get to the end of the year, we're looking and we're disgusted with what we see in the bank account. We're disgusted at how things went. But y'all, it's Q1. We're at the end of Q1 already, and you can turn it all the way around right now. And like you said, you said it's not a money problem, it's a management problem.
Bingo.
Yeah, literally, because I was just thinking, man, we went to last week, my wife and I, we took the kids out. We went to Cheesecake Factory, and that's $200.
Bro,
I was thinking, you know what I'm thinking now, man. That was a share of Apple. Yeah. Apple's 161. I'm thinking I could have had a share of appreciating the $2 trillion company. You know, so now when I'm going out, I'm thinking, man, I could be buying stock or insurance. Yeah, I need to be. I'm literally thinking, and y'all, what I'm thinking about. I'm not thinking about me. I'm literally thinking about my children. I'm thinking about their children because nobody did this for me.
Yes.
And that's no knock on my dad, my mom. They worked hard in Mississippi. On the farm, in the factory. They did the best they could. But y'all, it's so easy now. It's so easy now to just take the monies that you have.
Talk about it, bro.
Make it work for you.
Yeah.
Don't be a slave to your money. Don't be a slave to we've become, what's the word? We buy everything, rims that keep rolling, little glasses. You know them glasses ain't worth $200. Just because it got Gucci on it don't mean you got to pay $1,000. Put that money in something that's going to mean something later on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you should not be dying and then they talking about a GoFundMe. No, that would never. If y'all got to do a GoFundMe with me, don't even tell nobody I'm dead. They just be looking for me or Anthony. Oh yeah, he died 3 years ago. He didn't want y'all to know. He said don't do a GoFundMe. So we just been holding him out. No, y'all. If we don't do it now, when are we gonna do it?
Right.
There's a lady that we listen to in our mastermind all the time. Her name is Eileen. She says, "Do it now." Listen, you got the number, you got the website. You need to do it now. You need to call tomorrow. Can't call tonight; they're closed. But if you're having problems, if you're having issues, and then me and my wife, we're going to join your course because I need all the help I can get. Listen, I'm quick to say I don't know.
Yeah.
And I tell people, first you learn, you drop the L, and then you earn. You can't earn until you learn. You can't. That's why I had to get some help with the stocks. I don't know nothing about options. I don't know any. Listen, they give out plays, and then they tell you, why did you get in that play? What did you see on what was that ticker doing? What's the swing doing? What's the squeeze doing? They talk you through it and make you think. That's from learning. You never earn without learning. First you learn, then you earn.
Your income seldomly exceeds your personal development.
Ooh. You got these phrases, man. I could put everything you said could be on a shirt. It's not a money problem. It's a management problem. What was that last one you just said? Your income
seldomly exceeds your personal development.
I need some more development.
I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna let you go. So I never forget. I heard one of my mentors tell me. He said, "Paul, tithing's not for God. He doesn't need your money." Because Psalms 24 says the earth is the Lord's, right?
Wow.
And so what tithing actually is this management training program.
What? Say that again.
Tithing is God's management training program.
Oh my goodness. I need to I'm gonna make some shirts. You can be looking out for the shirts. I'm gonna put a PJ like on the bottom somewhere. Paul Jervey said this. Man, that's powerful. That's powerful. Wow. And so I can really attest to what you're saying about it's not a money problem, it's a management problem. Because me and my wife, we started looking into our finances. We're like, man, we're making all this money. Where'd this money go? Mm-hmm. But if you don't control your money will control you. Because it'll have you doing extra jobs. It'll have you stressed. It'll have you worried. And you'll be wondering where did it go? And the reason you don't know where it went is because you don't have a budget.
I see Sherry put that in there. Listen.
She did?
And she said, so many of us live outside of our budget and create unnecessary struggles. If a budget is you telling your money where to go instead of trying to figure out where it went. That's all it is.
Oh, wow. Yeah, she said, watch him, Paul. Yeah, I got to read the chat. She got busy in the chat. No, but that's true. You gotta have a budget. As our company began to grow and we began to make money, we were just spending, but you can't just spend no more. Y'all, the government might not tell you this, but let me come close to the microphone. We are in a recession. This is a bear market. Don't wait for DC. Don't wait for President Biden, for somebody to inform you that things are bad. If your house is on fire, do you need the fireman to come tell you, hey, you know your house is on fire? No, I was just in it. I'm hot. I can feel the heat. Yo, right now, you can feel it when you go to the grocery store. You can feel it when you go to the car wash. You can feel, listen, right now, the heat has been turned up. And this is why this is so important, and that we would be talking to Paul, y'all, on the night that the Fed just made the biggest decision of the year. Listen, we've got to get dialed in on our finances, because it dictates when we can go on a vacation. It dictates if we can go on a vacation. It dictates where your kids go to school, if it's private or public. It dictates what you drive. It dictates everything. So grab a hold of what he's saying. Listen, do it now. Call that number tomorrow. Take a screenshot, reach out to Paul. And Paul, what would you say if someone's saying, well, what do I get when I get you?
Oh man, that's a loaded question.
We're gonna use that in closing.
Yeah. So
what do I get when I get Paul Jervey?
You are getting a financial quarterback.
Okay.
You are getting a financial quarterback. We're gonna create the play. I'm gonna toss the ball to whoever needs to, and we're gonna score.
Wow. Somebody said, my sister Lena said hospital bills got me right now. Amen. We're gonna pray, Lena, and I'm gonna get with you, Lena, and we're gonna get a plan. We're gonna get, because all it is a plan. It's a plan. We make the money, and like he said, when somebody gives you the play, all you gotta do is run the play. Run the play.
Like Dr. D says, the greatest investment you can make is the investment in yourself. But yeah, I pray for you, sis. Pray for you.
Wow. Well, listen, guys, did y'all enjoy Paul on tonight? Listen, I don't know about y'all. I'm so fired up right now. I'm not going to bed for a long time tonight. I'm about to rewatch this and look at this all over again, because you said a lot. And for those of you that have been on with us tonight, please share this with the family member that might need help. Have them reach out to Paul and his team. Listen, sometimes people will take advantage of you. You know, they'll overcharge you. This brother's not going to do that. I brought him on because I know that he's a Christian man. He's a good guy. He will help you the right way. Some people will take advantage of you, you know, just use you. This is not going to happen. I wouldn't have him on if that was going to happen. And if you're in a situation right now where you just don't know how you're going to make it, you really need to be calling him. You really need to be reaching out to him tomorrow or as soon as possible. But listen, if you enjoyed Paul on tonight, put some fire in the chat. We're going to end this. We're at about an hour or so right now. And if you want him to come back, Michael Mendengal from Detroit said, yes, sir. Hey, that's the music producer right there. He recorded with Aretha Franklin.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I mean, the real deal, homeless deal. We got Kurt on here. He's in the financial space. He came on. I was hoping he would be on. I saw him earlier. Kurt Johnson. I think he works in the he works in the banking financial industry in Memphis. So we have and then I saw another gentleman that's a fiduciary. He was on my LinkedIn. Okay. So yeah, we're streaming on LinkedIn, 2 YouTube channels and 3 Facebook channels. Man, so a lot of people, a lot of people are going to see this, and that's what we want impact. We want impact. We want increase, and we want people to feel like they can reach out and get the help that they need. And this is so important. Well, guys, that's it for tonight. Please reach out. Watch this again if you need to. If you came in at the end, that's why I was trying to keep it to an hour. But if you can drive and just listen to the vocal portion of it, if you can't look at it. But thank you, Paul. Listen, I'll see you. We'll chop it up next time I'm in Delaware. I don't know when I'll be in Delaware.
Listen, I'd rather come to you. It's still cold up here.
Exactly right. Nobody just shows up in Delaware.
Yeah, they sure don't. They drive through Delaware, bro.
Boom. But people come to Orlando all the time. So if you ever down here, man, we definitely gonna get together. And then I know we'll be we got Chandra Trice on here from Okolona. She has a transportation service. Okay. Yeah, we got some business people on here. Amen. She getting it done. She's getting it done. She says, looking forward to the next time. So we got to do this again. We might have to do something quarterly. And if we can get some people enrolled in his program, we like to see people increase year over year. And all it is knowledge, y'all. It's just knowledge. It's knowledge, literally. Well, good night, everybody. Thank y'all for coming on. Share this on look, now everybody's showing up at the end, 9, 10. People popping in on all of the different mediums. We done. Y'all missed it. but visit the website. Let me put it back up one more time before we finish the Economics. And that's where his video is. Yes. And I probably should just roll it one more time. We got everybody here now. Let me play the video one more time, and so people can see that. Yeah.
Where is your money? Is it in a better place than it was 6 months ago, 1 year ago?
Why is it still
2 years ago? Do you feel like you're in a crazy state of hunger? I'm not talking about hungry for food, but hungry for things to change. Are you living paycheck to paycheck, can't get out of debt, don't know how to save or where to save, don't know if you can get that house, send that kid to college, or retire? Maybe you're asking God, where is the breakthrough? Because I'm tithing and giving offerings. There is a solution, and it's called Economics. Economics is the ultimate biblical financial education course designed to lead you on an exodus from financial bondage to the financial promised land. Economics uses a strategy called the 3M approach to master your money life. After applying these principles, you won't have to chase money because the money will track you down.
You muted, bro.
Yeah, well, that's it for tonight. The video paused, but that's just like the devil. When some good information is going out, he don't want you to hear. But go to his website, Economics, and then the other website, the Genesis, that was up. Reach out to Paul. And if you enjoyed this, inbox me, share this, hit me up. And I know that everybody's been blessed and that increase in value has been added tonight. Thank you, guys, and we will talk to you later. Take care.